Guys, I need a little bit louder than that. Give it up.
Into a spiritual side, I'm the GOAT. I give people hope. I make people feel like they're rich when they're broke. I'm slitting rappers' throats, kill them all, fuck them.
How we feeling, guys?
Show love till I'm dead, you getting jumped, and I be cheering.
Geez, I remember in 2021 I had to come up here. I think I stuttered for like the first 3 minutes. It was like really bad. All right. So who has met me or knew of me before coming here? Raise your hand. I'm just kind of curious. I love that. Like barely anybody. This is so cool.
You have the clicker right there too.
I can be anybody I want today. Cool. So this is me at my corporate job, being a little corporate cuck in 2020. Okay, who here is still working a job they really hate? Okay. Wow. Actually, not a lot of people. Nice. So that was me. I graduated, college in 2022 and had my business degree and did everything I was supposed to do like a good little boy, like my dad told me to do. And I was making like $8 an hour. And I'm like, I'm actually broke. It just kind of like set in. So I was making maybe 50K at Xerox. So I was like, I just dove full into the entrepreneurship world, and this is actually in March. I said, actually, no, in January, I started selling on Amazon. This is me ripping out of my dad's house. I would literally go to work at 8 in the morning and I'd get home at 5 and I would do RA from 5 p.m. until like midnight and then pack from midnight to 2 in the morning. And I did that for a year until I met Jameson and other people. So anyways, that's a little bit of my backstory. But today, guys, I kind of want to share with you 2 stories that are my favorite. I love telling stories. And that hopefully will move you guys in a way to make you totally rethink how you're seeing and approaching your Amazon business, but also life. Okay, so maybe I want to briefly talk about why you should listen to me and why I'm so cool. So so this is my sales last 12 months. And shout out to my beautiful fiance, Diana. Diana, can you stand up real quick? Yeah. Okay. She's really sweet. So guys, go introduce yourself, chat with her a little bit over the weekend. She's honestly half of this growth is just because of the pressure that she puts on me. If you guys want to make more money, go get yourself engaged to a Latina that makes you pay for everything because you'll figure it out. Okay, best thing that's ever happened to me. So, okay. How did MSC start? Avery kind of shared a little bit, but basically, guys, I didn't have any friends in the business world, And when I met Avery, literally within a week or 2 of meeting, like he had taught me about systems and he literally forced me to get my first assistant. He's like, you have an interview next week. I was like, oh, okay. And like literally within a week, I had all these things happen to me. My business started to get easier. I was making more money and I was like, dude, we should. And then I had, who here knows Grant Cardone? Raise your hand. Okay, a lot of you guys. So I went to his 10X conference in 2020, and then I met Avery right after, and I'm like, dude, we should do our own conference, And I said it, and as soon as I said it, I was like, that's stupid. Like we're never gonna get people here, And so that was us in Overtown. He wanted to move in with me literally a month after meeting. I'm like, that's kind of like ballsy. Like I don't even know who you are. But I was like, let's get an Airbnb together for a month and see if we can get along, And we did. And we actually stayed in the sketchiest part of Miami. Do not go here, guys. It is just straight hood. And but we lived there for a month and we hit it off. And we literally, the inception of this event started there in 2021. And this was actually the first year. We literally only had like 30 people in the room. There's Trevin giving his talk and yeah. So anyways, I want to tell everyone in this room, like, thank you guys so much for being here. Like this is one of my favorite parts of the whole year is like showing up here and creating a space for you guys to learn and like there's nothing that makes me happier than to like see all of you guys achieve like massive success. So give yourself a big round of applause for being here. Yeah. Okay. So now the second story that I want to share. This is Diana and I moving into our first apartment. So this is actually literally just over a year ago. This was like January of 2023. So when we met, Diane and I, we've been together now for like 2 years and 3 months. We were literally traveling nomadically through Central America, like just living out of Airbnbs, like full-blown gypsies, you know. And then after about a year, she's like, hey, I think we kind of need to like have a house or like a home base. I was like, okay, I guess we can do that. So she was kind of putting expectations on me, but there was a desire for me because, I mean, you guys know as entrepreneurs, especially with OA, you know, like my income one month might have been 3K and another month it was 10. It was just up and down, you know, and I knew that if I was going to be able to live the life that we wanted, I needed to take my business and my income more seriously. I knew that I needed to be able to make 20, 30, 50K a month if I was going to be able to afford to buy a house and start a family. Like I knew that I was not making enough money and it just hit a breaking point, you know? So this is literally a year ago from today. This is my actual numbers in 2023. Like I literally made, you know, $2,000 actual profit. And our lease payment was $2,000 on our apartment. So who knows that feeling when your bills are coming due and you're like, fuck, say I. Yeah, okay. And this is actually us. We have so many stupid ass stories. We literally road tripped across the US to Oregon and I did Q4 out of an Airbnb but I was grinding. I was grinding and barely making enough money, you know, so I just hit this epiphany. And that was actually why I almost backed out of this event because who am I? This is I'm 4 years into my business. I'm barely making $3,000 a month and I'm going to come up here and give a talk in front of 170 people. I felt like a fraud. You know what I'm saying? Raise your hand and say, I ever felt like a fraud.
Aye.
Yeah. Luckily, not as much anymore. So, but anyways, I just hit that point where I was like, something's got to change. And the journey began. We decided to go to Salt Lake, and I came back. I called Avery up. I'm like, I'm coming back. I remember pulling up the landing page to the Miami event, and he put me on the video. He was like, this fucker can't get rid of me, you know? So anyways, came back, had an amazing time, and I met a lot of really great people last year. And I flew back to Salt Lake after the event, and there's a specific gentleman that I met that he ended up coming over to my apartment, and we're hanging outside, and we're just smoking a joint. I don't smoke weed that much, but I was like, fuck it, whatever. And he had nonchalantly mentioned to me how much money he was making, and it was like about $50,000 a month. And I'm like, hold on a second. You're making how much money a month? 50,000? And high as shit, I interrogated the shit out of him for the next 3 hours. I'm not kidding. I was like, well, why? What are you doing every day? You know, and I knew some of the products he was selling too. So that made it even more relatable, you know, when you meet somebody and you're like, hey, this guy can do it. I know I can do it too, you know? So I interrogated this guy for like 3 hours. And then I'm like, okay, I know what I got to do. And literally that was probably beginning of February of last year. And I just started calling the shit out of suppliers. I knew the products I wanted to sell. And I must have reached out to 150, 200 suppliers, just calling, emailing, trying to get through the receptionist, everything, just doing 30, 40 a day. And I was still doing OA. And finally, after like the 250th supplier, I got a yes. I was like, okay, this works. Then I found another supplier. And I had 2 suppliers, and I knew that I knew what I had. I knew that the opportunity was huge. So Avery and I flew out to Puerto Rico. And I'm sitting in Puerto Rico, but only one problem. All my money was tied up. Okay, who knows that feeling? Say aye. All your money's tied up in inventory. Aye. I had this huge opportunity. I got the best supplier in the world. I got all the pricing. I got all the ASINs. I'm like, this is it. This is it. And one problem, I don't have any money. Like I have maybe a few grand left. Like I could pull out of my business, you know, but I knew I needed an investor. And I had worked with investors before. I had probably 4 other investors that I'd worked with. So I called them up, you know, and I'm getting on Zooms and I'm telling them, I'm like, you know, this is the opportunity I have. I need the money. And it was all no's. It was all no's. So then I'm like, fuck it. I had a friend who's in insurance and from college that I met. And I called him up. I'm like, Eric, I just need 50K. Like, I'll make you 10. Like, this is good. Like, just he's like, dude, I'm getting my backyard redone. Like, I ain't got time for this, like fuck. So anyways, I remember mentioning it to Avery. We were in Puerto Rico together, and he's like, dude, have you called Soros, Tim, who I met here at the event? And I'm like, no, I haven't. So I called up Tim, and I'm like, I took for like 10 minutes, I just speedballed him. I'm like, this is the opportunity that I found. Do you know anybody that, could give me a loan for $50,000? And he's like, dude, honestly, how about this? I trust you. You let me in and let me start buying from you a little bit. I want to get a cut of this deal. I'll give you the 50K loan interest free. I'm like, hell yeah. Let's go. So this is the wire transfer into April. I ended up getting it when I got home, and he ended up giving me another 50K, and it all came together. And one of the greatest things I love to tell people is like this entire game is a triangle. There's the money, there's the people, and there's the deals. And most of you guys right now probably don't have a lot of capital. You're probably just getting started. And what you should be focusing on is meeting as many people as you can and finding the best deals that you can find. Because if you do that, all of the credit and the capital is going to show up. And that's what happened to me. So, yeah, I got the 50K loan, and I just freaking ran it up, man, with a few suppliers. And I mean, this was my 2022. I only did 900K. I completely left OA, went all into wholesale after grinding for a month. And I just last 12 months, I'm at 1.9 million, and I doubled my ROI. So let's hear it. Now, I tell you guys that story because like some of you, I'm talking to so many of you guys last night, and some of you guys think that 30K profit months, 50K is so far away, and it's not. It's one supplier. It's one brand. It's one investment away, Raise your hand here if you guys want to make $50,000 in a single month. Say aye. Aye. Okay, this is accessible to all of us, guys. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's actually it. So, thank you guys for listening.